Okay, I'm thinking about Advent and I'm thinking about Christmas, and I have some real controversial things to share in this video. This is the title of the video. 5 reasons I didn't teach my kids about Santa Claus. Both for me when I was growing up and as I've raised my 2 children who are now 13 and a half and 11, Santa was not taught ever as a person who exists and travels in a magic sleigh and goes down the chimney. And it wasn't just because of convenience, because we always haven't had a chimney. It's for some pretty, I think, good reasons. So take this with a grain of salt. As people who are part of the Evangelical Covenant Church, we affirm freedom in Christ. You might have some good reasons for sharing with your children that Santa is real, but I do want to share with you my 5 reasons why I did not teach my children about Santa Claus, and I regret it 0. So first of all, I really like to tell my children the truth. When they ask hard questions about the world, I tell them the truth. And I think the story of Santa Claus is lying to my children. Imagine, kids, a benevolent man who lives at the North Pole and makes toys and delivers them to all the children around the world. And also, he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. That's a lie. I actually do believe in a benevolent being who does see us when we're sleeping. I call him God, and he's come to us in Christ. And so I don't want these stories to convolute. I want them to be separate, and I want them to know that the story of Santa is imaginary and that that's not a real story that we affirm. So I don't lie to my kids, number 1. Number 2, this is because I'm selfish, but I do not want to give an imaginary person credit for my own generosity and benevolence. Now, the truth is, my husband tends to be more generous and benevolent with our children than I do, and I'll give him the credit, but I don't want to give it to Santa Claus. So presents are for mom and dad and family members who love them. We don't have presents from Santa because Santa isn't real, because I want the credit. I don't want to give it to some imaginary person. 3, actually, Santa Claus, I don't tell my kids about a living person called Santa Claus because Santa Claus is based on a real character, a real person in Christian history, St. Nicholas. There's actually 2 St. Nicholas, and they've sort of been put together into one composite character. But St. Nicholas was a real person who was truly generous with the poor. I can link below to a book that explains his life to kids. And so, but like all the saints that have gone before us, he is now in the presence of God, awaiting the resurrection. So in a way, Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, is real, but he no longer is at the North Pole. He is in the presence of God. So let us honor him as a saint, not as a weird imaginary living person. Number 3. Okay, number 4. If you know much about how the current figure of Santa Claus reached us as a culture, it's really from a marketing campaign for Coca-Cola. I enjoy Coca-Cola. I had a Diet Coke yesterday. I appreciate Coke. I grew up outside Atlanta, which is like the home of Coke. However, I don't want that merchandising to influence the traditions and the stories that we tell in our home. So, yep, sorry, no Santa Claus. That's number 4. And then 5. This is the most important. There is already a crazy story associated with Christmas. And it's not that some guy gets down the chimneys miraculously and visits billions of homes throughout the world to be generous with children. It's that God wanted humanity to experience him. And he became a person. He took on the form of Christ, and he humbled himself to be born as a baby while still being God. That is the amazing story that I want to promote at Christmas time, not Santa Claus. So those are the 5 reasons I haven't taught my kids about Santa, and I don't regret it. If you'd like to have a conversation, I'd love to talk with you about this. But I do hope that your Advent and your Christmas is blessed, but not because of Santa, because of Jesus and what he's done for us. Bye.